Hi, it's Tony with lidl.doodle. Today we are going to talk about blue inks. So after my winter inks video where I had pulled a lot of blue out for that and just kind of thinking about January is blue in my mind and just ordered a blue pen, I decided to pull out a handful of blue inks and share some swatching with you. I pulled a handful of just not standard inks, but not shimmer. So maybe a couple sheening, and then a handful of shimmer inks as well. So I thought we would just have some fun with some blue inks, and yeah, let's just jump in. And these are in no particular order. I literally just have them scattered all over my side desk here, and I'm just grabbing a bottle as we go. And I didn't even like map out the swatching like areas, because the last time I did that, I didn't even follow it anyway, so I messed up. All right, the first one we are going to talk about is Jacques Urban Bleu Nuit. I don't know, however you say that. This is not shimmer. I can't remember if it has a sheen. I have this in my, what do I have this in? I can't even remember. I have this in something. It kind of makes me think of like a denim blue. I really like it, and I love Urban inks. We've got a couple of their standard inks, and then a couple of their I don't know if they're like specialty or limited edition or so, I don't know. But this one just kind of makes me think of like a nice like denim blue. Moving on, and I'm going to just do kind of all the non-shimmer inks to start with, and then I will switch over to showing you the shimmer inks. And I am swatching these with my little Speedball B1 nib, and then this is my Kakimori brass nib in my River City Penco nib holder that, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I love this little guy. And speaking of pens, I did something kind of crazy yesterday that I didn't think I was going to do. Okay, let's look at the next ink. Indigo. This is Diamine. And funny that I grabbed this one because I feel like it's kind of a denim-y color like this too. So what I did yesterday that was a little unexpected is I hopped on and bought us tickets to LA for the California Pen Show that is in 3 weeks. We had talked about going, it's February 14th through the 16th, right? Or the 13th through the 16th. And our son-in-law graduates from the police academy on the 14th, which is a Friday. And I was like, oh, we can't go to the pen show. And then I thought, well, why can't we just go to the pen show late Friday night and enjoy Saturday and Sunday and come back Sunday night? So I just went for it. And yeah, so I'm super excited. So if you are going to be at the California Pen Show in 3 weeks, let me know. I'm super excited. I think we're going to see some similarities once this dries. This indigo might be a smidge darker than the Urban ink, but we'll give it a minute to get all nice and dry. The next ink that I am grabbing is Tom's Studio Loch Ness, and this is my only Tom's ink. I really like it. I picked it up at this little stationery store downtown called Orangium. and she carries a lot of Tom's and Ferris Wheel Press inks. And it was the first one that I grabbed, and it was kind of interesting that I picked a blue because that's not like a color I would automatically go to, especially just kind of a darker standard blue. But I really like this. It's very subtle, but kind of sophisticated. Does that make sense? It's just like a really nice blue. So for being in no particular order, it's funny that I kind of picked these three that I think are fairly similar. Let's see, what do we have next? I'm going to grab Early Dusk. This was a Diamine Inkvent from some year. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. And it's, again, kind of in the same, just a nice practical blue, which I don't tend to write with a lot of practical colors. I do have a few pens that I have inked up, like a black or a blue, that I put in just my little everyday carry, so that if I'm making lists, or I don't know, like if I ever had to sign anything, I don't sign stuff. Not that important. But this is a nice, pretty, just solid blue. This one, I have absolutely no idea where I got this. It is, I had to look up the brand. It's Takeda Jamuki Kyono Oto is the line, I believe. And then this is Aonibi number 5. Again, for the longest time, I just called it the weird blue ink in the bottle that I can't read. But I actually did take the time to look it up so that I could tell you what it is. And I don't think I have this in any pens currently, but it is a nice blue. That's kind of looking a little bit maybe like a in between indigo and Loch Ness. But it's a nice blue as well. And if you know this brand and I am messing it up with pronunciation or just what it is, I apologize. They're all pretty dark blues in the swatches. The writing sample, boy, that Tom's kind of pulling a real kind of blue-black. The Diamine is kind of the brightest blue as of right now. I'd say this and indigo are kind of drying a little similar, and then the Urban looks like it might be the lightest. But I have this in a pen, and the writing is dark enough. Okay, so these two inks, what I discovered, so this is Jelly Bean Blue from Ferris Wheel Press. And if you don't have any Ferris Wheel Press inks, their bottles are so pretty. I just really enjoy their packaging. And so I know what this color is, right? And I did my swatch, and then I did my Konpeki ink, which is a Pilot Irishizuku ink. And I have this in a pen, and I use this very often. What I did not realize is this has a pinkish sheen, just like this one. It's very prominent in the Ferris Wheel Press, but I don't think I had ever done like a full, like, big swatch of Konpeki. And if I did, it didn't stick, that it had quite a lovely sheen to it. And so when I was kind of messing around with these inks before this video, I saw how similar they were, and I was kind of surprised. I don't have Jelly Bean in any pens currently, but I have had it in inked up before. It's a nice, fun, deep blue, and then when it dries, it's just got this super funky pink sheen to it. And we will see that in just a few minutes when it dries. I think the bottle's getting a little low. I need to get a little like inkwell or something. Well, I guess I have one, but I don't know. I could put it in here. Does anybody use these? I've used it a little bit. More for like when I'm painting, I will put the ink in there, but not really just for writing. So we're gonna let that take a minute. I am gonna go ahead and do the Konpeki swatch as well, just so you can see. I wasn't going to at first because I was like, oh, they're the same color. Nobody cares about that. But maybe you do. Maybe you wanna see, or maybe you see that they're not as similar as I'm thinking they are. So we will do this quickly. I don't want this video to be 3 hours, so I'm gonna try to go fast here. Right away, you can see that the blue is kind of brighter. That's interesting because in this other swatch I did, I felt like the blue was more similar. Well, maybe I am, maybe I was seeing things, I don't know. Okay, well, all that talk about them being so similar, I'm kind of calling myself out here because the blues definitely look a lot different, but the sheen showed up very similar in my little test, so I guess we'll have to see. And the last non-shimmer is Diamine Celadon Cat. This is kind of a greenish gray, dusty blue. I do have this inked up in a pen. I have it in this Sailor, what was this one called? It had a tutu, something like that. And they made a big deal out of it because it's got this like triangular grip that you can adjust. And I don't know. The Celadon Cat is a great color for this, but it is a light writer. While it looks nice and rich on the swatch, I find that actually writing with it, with this Sailor, it's pretty light for me, and I don't particularly love this Sailor. Let's see if it'll write for me. I haven't written with this for a while. Oh, there it goes. Oh, no, it's dying out. Okay, it might be low on ink. It might be dried out just because I don't reach for that pen very often. It's a pretty affordable Sailor, so if you are wanting to try out a Sailor pen, it's a fairly new one. I think they came out with like at the end of summer or something. Wow, look at that. Right, so that's it for the non-shimmer inks. And because I feel like this is getting pretty long for an ink video, I'm going to make some decisions here of the shimmer inks to show you, because I've got like 6 over here, but maybe I will just pick 4. How's that? So the first one is Diamine Enchanted Ocean. It's a pretty dark blue. I think it has, does it have silver shimmer in it? Okay, I'm gonna have to just tilt the page a little bit. I hope that doesn't push on you. Still waiting on my ink muddler to get here. My package is coming from Drumgools in Texas. and I got the shipping notification, and then shortly after it got adjusted because of the weather. So there was a little bit of a delay. So I'm hoping to get my package this week, and then I will do a video sharing my new pen and my ink muddler. I've never used one, so it will be interesting to see how that works for me. Pretty dark and like a blue silver shimmer. You can kind of see how that's settling. The next one I will show is another diamine, and this is Blue Lightning. I think I have this in something right now, and it's a pretty intense shimmer if I'm remembering correctly, and you can kind of see the little dot there that's pretty bright blue. It's always fun to see when I'm pulling out the bottles, like how much of the bottle we have left, because it kind of tells me if it's a popular ink in our house or not. And kind of doing inventory on our inks right now, because we have a lot. And we have a lot of pens, and we use a lot of our ink, so it's not like they go to waste or anything. But yeah, I just do. Sometimes I feel like I should not be buying any more ink. And then something new comes out and I'll be like, oh, but I need that color. Can you relate? I don't know. I love inks. When I first got into this hobby, I wasn't as preoccupied with the inks as I am now, but oh my gosh. I love experimenting with different ink pen combinations, and I love doing art with my fountain pen inks. I treat it like liquid watercolor a lot. I like taking them to school and sharing them with my kids, and we do some art projects with my fountain pen inks that are not going to get used a lot. I don't want them to just sit and collect dust, so I take them to school. And I've even had a couple, there's one or two students over the past few years that got fountain pens as gifts and like didn't know what to do with them, and so brought them to me and asked me to help them ink them up and show them how they work. So that's been super fun, and it's super cute. I love it when teenagers are like, oh my gosh, this old timey pen. And then they'll ask for help with it. And I've shown them techniques of how to write with them, and brought in fun ink so that they can try different inks in their fountain pens. Oh, I forgot to tell you what this one was, sorry. This is Colorverse Blue Dragon Glistening Silver. And we picked this one up at the San Francisco Pen Show. They have Blue Dragon. They have like a glistening silver and I think a glistening gold. And then, I feel like there was a third one. But anyway, we just got the glistening silver. And Colorverse inks are great. I just don't think you can go wrong with them. I've never had a Colorverse ink that I don't love. I think the last of the shimmer here, because oh my gosh, this video is getting way too long. If you are still watching and hanging out with me, thank you. Maybe you've got it on in the background doing some food prep. That's what I do. I turn on my pen and ink video friends and just have it on in the background a lot of times. Okay, so the last one, Robert Oster. And this is Blue Moon. I really like this ink. And Robert Oster is another brand that I just think that I've never been disappointed with any of their inks. And we have quite a few. They do shimmer real well. Like Like, I feel like there are some brands that kind of have their shimmer game down, and then other ones that are like, oh, maybe that's okay. Diamine is definitely stands out with their shimmer inks, and they have a significant variety of colors. And Robert Oster as well, and Colorverse. Oh my gosh, look at how much ink is on that. All right, that's certainly not an exhaustive list of shimmer inks, but I want you to be able to get back to your life. So we will give this a few minutes to dry, and then I will do a quick close-up and say goodbye. Let's take a closer look. We're almost 100% dry here. There is the Urban, the Diamine, the Toms. You can really see how dark that is. And the Indigo, if it's showing up on camera, has just a hint of some shading property there. There's that early dusk, really digging that. There's that Takeda Jamuki. All right, Ferris Wheel Press and Konpeki. It doesn't look as similar as it did on my little practice, and I'm going to show you so you just don't think I'm making up. I don't know. So here was my practice, and I feel like those look pretty similar. So I don't know. And then there's the Celadon Cat. This one might, I mean, I feel like it's kind of a bluish green. I don't know. It's not my favorite. It's okay. Right, there's the Enchanted Ocean. You can really see that shimmer. There's the Blue Lightning. And I just love how the shimmer even shows up in the writing samples. There's the Colorverse and the Robert Oster. All right. So there's some blue inks to check out. What do you think? Let me know if you have a favorite either on this list, or if you have a favorite that I didn't include. Like I said, I have more that I could share, but I'm sure you have a life and you need to get back to it. So I appreciate you all hanging out. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.